Oh. Good evening, Schniffle Whiffers and Biffle Differs. Smile Piles Caniles. Esphobajai Diley being the cameraman, the sound man, and the demonstrator at the same time. Okay, getting to the point. Point is, I got two Rhodes, both here at the same time in ye old garage. This is very interesting, and the point is going to be this. Here is Rhodes number 1. So, what is the relevance? Relevance of that is I got this from my very, very good friend George William Knowles in 2013. It's a February the 6th, 1972 Fender Rhodes. Of the 5 Rhodes that I have, this is the only model that actually is a Fender Rhodes. Whenever Fender, let's see if I can't get this to look a little, there we go. When Fender briefly bought Harold Rhodes' company, and there are some stigmas attached to the Fender Rhodes company. When it merged, I think the overt quality is that they felt like the instruments were cheaper because Leo Fender was trying to make money, and so they cut corners with the Fender Rhodes. So it was Rhodes, it became Fender Rhodes, and then it went back to being Rhodes. So the 1972 that I've got here is a Fender Rhodes that came from Bubba Knowles. And the restoration on it mostly is complete, and as you saw, it has a Avion Studios Retroflyer preamp in it. This Dealy Whopper, which gives you stereo out. So this is a tip ring sleeve 1/4-inch jack, which is 2 channels of audio, not just the normal mono, but it has 2 channels. So you need a stereo tip ring sleeve jack to really drive this, to get the effect that it's designed to give. You can put a single 1/4-inch jack in there and it'll run mono, and that's just fine. And the tremolo effect will be in mono, but your best option is when you use this Avion Preamp, you use a tip ring sleeve stereo plug. And when it goes into your mixer, you go into 2 different channels. So I'm in channel 1 and 2. They're microphone inputs on this Mackie mixer, and they're panned hard left and hard right. As you can see, I really only have like less than an octave of notes to go on the top to finish the restoration of it. And I'm going to play it. But this is a comparison video because as I've been working on this Rhodes for so many years, and with the Avion Preamp, which obviously is a much nicer sound, much wider bandwidth, so much cleaner. The dynamic range is greatly increased, so it increases the value of the instrument, no question, from a passive Rhodes. So I'm very glad that I put this in, and it's only been in for, a couple of months. But as I'm working on the Rhodes and I'm playing it, I'm getting used to the sound of it. Well, I got used to it whenever it was passive. And I put a 15K pot in it instead of the original 10K pot. And I got used to it being the sound of a passive Rhodes, which is different than the Peterson or the Janus preamps. The preamps color the sound in certain ways. And so I resigned myself to this just being a passive, basic, scaled down, bare bones, but good sounding, solid Rhodes. So I got used to the way that it sounded passive, and you have to play it really hard. So it really makes you play as a piano player. And bam, boom, you put the preamp in, and it's a different animal completely. And you really got to get used to it. But it brought out one particular quality of this 1972 Fender Rhodes that I knew this was the truth, but I didn't really know that it was inherent in this particular instrument, right? A characteristic of the sound that people know about. The stage Rhodes, the Fender Rhodes stage Rhodes, early 70s, 1972, which some people say are the more desirable instruments. Well, groovy. I got one, and there's a good chance it's going to be for sale in the near future. So I got a little bit of aesthetic work to do to it, but for the most part, it's coming together, and it sounds really good. And you bang on it. You really lay into it, and you can get the bark and the overdrive, and it sounds, like a Dave Foster tune. So that's all well and good. But as I was playing it, and that one particular characteristic just kept coming out and became the overt color of the instrument, I started to kind of not like it as much because it's new to me. The other Rhodes that I have, my best Rhodes is my 1981 Mark II that my father gave me for a graduation present from high school, and I've used that my entire life, and I restored it. It has a Rhodes preamp in it, and it sounds great and plays great. The action, everything about it I love, and it's absolutely a different sound than this. It doesn't really have the suitcase sound, which, is cool once you understand what that is. So that doesn't have that characteristic. And also the 54 Rhodes that I restored that's in the den running through the A100, it doesn't have this Fender Rhodes characteristic suitcase sound. And then the 79 Rhodes that's got the amp in the den in there, it doesn't have that sound. And then so I was really kind of just, this is what I'm working on. This is my project. I have to make it my focus. But I'm not really liking it. I'm not really liking the way that it sounds just because I'm not used to it. So what I did was I said, man, I need something. Whenever I normally work on these out here in this garage, I usually have two of them so I can A-B them back and forth. So I went and fetched one of the other Rhodes, not the ones inside, but one that I had at a friend's house. And it's this one over here. So let's take a look at it. April 14th, 1977. There's the date badge. And gee, doesn't look that different. Does it? Doesn't really look that different. 5 years apart. So the point is that I kind of semi-restored this several years ago. I got it for free. It just came upon me, and I didn't do a full restore on it. I didn't have to replace the screws and the grommets. All the pickups work, so I just put a new hammer tip kit on it. Kind of voiced it, tuned it, and it was good to go. And I played it on quite a few gigs. It even has the original passive electronics. I didn't even replace the volume pot, and I really liked it. I run it through a Boss stereo chorus. So I have running through this. Here is the infamous Boss CE3 stereo chorus, the Roland stereo chorus that everybody knows. So that's how I'm processing that the other Rhodes. This one, right? Because it's mono, it's passive electronics, and you need something on it a little bit. And so I discovered that this wonderful little stomp box right here really kind of does the job. I have it set really slow. The chorus is really slow, so you barely even really notice it. And the key to this box is that because it's a guitar stomp box, it's pretty noisy. So you got to run it through the effects loop up here of the Mackie. There are two effects loops, right? Effects sends 1 and 2. I got the reverb is in 1. You can see it. Mono out and stereo back in again. It's a MIDI verb. And then you use the other one to send to the chorus unit, and then the output you bring it back in again into another channel on the mixer, and you pan it the opposite direction from the piano, and that's how you get a nice you simulate the preamp tremolo effect using a pedal. So anyway, it's pretty cool that I got the two of them here together. I got them both plugged up, and so I'm going to play them. Now, see, I got this, I'm using my webcam, and I got it mounted on a little stand so that I can hold it, and I have some USB extension cables, so I got a good 10 to 15 feet of camera cable, so that's cool. I can go all over the place with the camera, and then maybe later I'll run the trains for you, because they're pretty cool. I think on the last couple of videos this wasn't uncovered. It was a camo drop over the top of the table, and so lo and behold, whoop, like magic, it's a Lionel train set that runs and works great. Except that when the train runs over the switches, it crackles in the audio bus. It distorts a little bit, but the whole point here is to play both of these pianos side by side so that you can hear the 72 Fender Rhodes Mark I Stage 73, so vintage 72 Fender Rhodes, and then you can hear a 1977 regular Rhodes. So 5 years difference, right? And you're going to hear the difference between the two of these. And I voiced and tuned both of them. They've both been restored pretty well. This one was a bit rough. But I want you to hear the difference between them, because maybe later tonight, this one is also going to get an Avion Preamp. So I am going to upgrade it and take out these original passive electronics that you can see. This is pretty antiquated. And it's going to become this, which is pretty cutting edge, state of the art. So it will be the last that you will hear of Mr. 77 with passive electronics. And I think the reality is that it's going to be a great improvement. It's going to become immediately a much more studio quality piano, and there's not anything that you're going to lose from taking out those passive electronics and putting in a new stereo preamp. But I want to document how each of these instruments sounds. The Fender Rhodes 72 with a preamp in it that's been restored, and then the 77 original stock from the factory, and they both sound really good, just different. So see if you can really kind of discern the characteristics of each instrument. Now I got to see where I can put my camera, so I'm going to have to take it off of the pedestal. So give me a second. All right. And this here. So this is the big blowout between the two instruments. I'm going to turn the mic off and I'm going to play and just dig and groove on how each one of them sound. This is certainly not down the Rhodes webisode. This is down with Reichley's garage. So, dig, you want to see the trains run? Okay. So, diggity. Well, the camera's got to go back on the mount. The mount! Oh, yes, man. We got to plug the old transformer. So, here's Lionel Trains 101. Now it's going to make some horrible clickety-clacking. But this is the nature of the beast. The beast. So, we're gonna see if I can get these going. So, whenever the locomotives go over the two switches, I get some interference through the transformer that comes through the audio bus. So, sorry about that. But my crossing gate works, and my little blinker lights over there work, and I can run two trains at the same time, which is pretty cool. So we're going to run two trains. Here. Now what I got to do is I got to flip the turnouts. So I'm going to have to flip the transformer on and then reach over and try to flip the switches. Damn it. Somehow I got them. Well, I can't do it. The Lionel trains are three positions, so forward, neutral, reverse. And if you put the two locomotives off from each other, so when one is in neutral, the other one is in run, you can park one while you run the other locomotive on the layout. So anyway, that's just a little bit of Christmas fun thrown in. Meanwhile, I got the battery fixed on my DX7. But dig it, check out the sound of these two things, and see what you think. All right. Peace out.